On today's episode of Wellness on the Rocks, my guest is an incredible bartender that I've gotten to know over the last couple of years. This person would stop into Stout after their shifts back when they worked at Butcher's Cut in the Gas Lamp and quickly became a great regular at the bar. Has always brought really kind and positive energy every time we saw them. And we started stocking Stoli Elite just for this person. And they moved out. Unfortunately, they moved out of town. So now the bar is stuck with 4 cases of Stoli Elite that we can't move. So if anyone wants to, maybe we'll do a special or something. I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. We actually don't have 4 cases of Stoli Elite. That was a stupid joke. But this person has managed restaurants. They have built cocktail programs, and they just received their level 3 champagne certification from the Napa Valley Wine Academy. They currently split time between the Remy and Mabel's Gone Fishing. Welcome to Wellness on the Rocks, Mollie Kelly. So we got a little wood for it. It's all just experimental, you know? I try to think of myself as an artist who has a bartending problem. Here, we'll throw the headphones on. Get into fucking podcast mode. Love it, love it. But yeah, dude, it's just like having fun, man. I feel like that's like sometimes I'm really guilty of, I take my job a little too serious. Mm-hmm, sometimes you just gotta like let loose and lay back. So have a couple of whiskey shots to start this bad boy off.
I love it. I feel like moving to San Diego, I've had to have the firm reminder of it's just food and beverage. Yeah. And it's not that deep.
Yeah, I know. It's like, cheers, dude. Appreciate you.
Cheers, babe. Thank
Mollie,
you.
We've been talking about this for a while. Finally
Happy
making it happen.
Here.
Yeah, it's kind of funny running into you at Crafted Coop the other night, their anniversary party. I kind of rolled in by myself because I asked a few people downtown to go, and
so good.
Keep it going, baby. Keep it going.
You know, it's funny. I just being right in North Park, I've really gotten the honor and privilege of getting to meet everybody over at Crafted and be like, wow, this is such a great environment. And going in there for their anniversary party and seeing just like all the homies be there having a great time kind of felt like Thanksgiving just for all the industry people.
Dude, that's a really good point. It almost was like a little industry Thanksgiving for the North Park group. It's cool, man. It's cool like watching other people sort of like create programs and try new things. And they do have that little industry, they have an industry following there. It's like a true industry bar. And Cal he's from Ireland. He's bartended over in New York City for a while. I've met him a couple times. And it's just cool, man. I like to watch other people try new things, and sometimes people fail, sometimes people succeed, but you want to try to support them and stuff like that. So that's like, you know, people that support me in this podcast. It's like we are in this little restaurant community here in San Diego. It's not in a good spot, and you have to get creative with how you bring in sales.
100%.
You know?
And you know what? The more that you're able to create your community and your network around you, the more those people are going to go out and be like, oh, do you want another drink after this? Why don't I send you to so-and-so's spot? And that's how the ball keeps rolling. And the people that we take care of will always take care of us. Yeah.
And I met your friend, what was her name? The girl?
Jenny.
Jenny. Mm-hmm. Yeah. She's super nice. Seems like she's like super educated in the industry. But you've kind of you've had some unique jobs in this industry over the years. And after, you know, getting coffee with you and kind of hearing your story, you kind of have a East Coast, West Coast, bunch of different states. So how did you, how'd you get into the industry, and like what brought you to, you know, San Diego where you're training to work at Mabel's? Can you kind of take me through that?
Yeah, I would love to. So I have this like just beautiful memory that stands out so much in my brain of wanting to go to the mall when I was a kid. My parents were like, sick, like with what money? No, you're good. There we go. Beautiful.
Edit that out. Perfect. No worries. So I'm sorry. What state is this in?
Yeah. So this was back when I was in Pennsylvania. I was living on the outskirts of Philly, which is primarily where I grew up. I lived all up the East Coast by the time I was 18, but Philly was where I spent, or outskirts was where I spent the most amount of time. And I wanted to go to the mall one day. My parents were like sick with like, what money do you want to go to the mall with? I'm like, oh, you know what? That's a really great question. So I started working at this restaurant called Justin's Carriage House in this little small town environment. And I started off as a busgirl. I was making $20 a day. I was like, sick. This is the best money I'm ever going to make in my career.
Yeah.
It was not, thank God. But I had fun with it. And I realized like, wow, like I really love talking to people. And I was 14. bussing tables, and I was like, oh wow, you can take French fries off the plates if the guests don't finish it. Sick, free food. And I ran with it, and I worked as a bus girl, I worked as a hostess, I worked as a server, all in this little restaurant. And I just realized that hospitality was such this beautiful environment and this beautiful career that I could really delve into. And I thought that after I finished college, I was going to be done with hospitality, and I just missed it so much. So I ended up back in it.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to Montgomery County Community College, just right in outskirts of Philly itself.
Okay.
And I started college when I was 16.
Yo, that's crazy. Like, how you told me that. How does that work? You're bussing tables at 14.
Yep.
College at 16? Were you like super smart in school or something?
I was really good at bullshitting from a really young age. And I was like, I could start college now. Wow. So I actually thought I was going to be a theater major. Right. Yep. So I started college when I was in my senior year of high school, because I was already super young for being in where I was at with my, grade school. But I just really wanted to start on college. I really wanted my next step. I was tired of living in small town Pennsylvania, and I was like, cool, like there's a whole world. Let me go see it. And I started in college, graduated high school at the same time I finished my first year of college.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was super cool.
What classes were you taking in college as a freshman?
Of course, my theater class, because I was ready for it. But then I started taking just literary classes. I ended up with a journalism and marketing majors. So I really just kind of started on that track of figuring out what I wanted to write and how I wanted to write, and then how I wanted to market myself. And it was all, those like pre-rec intro classes that you have to take in your first year anyways.
Dude, yeah.
Totally sucked. But when I was in high school and I was in college simultaneous, I was like, no, like these are great. Like all my other friends were in AP classes, which I had when I was like my junior and senior year. I took some AP classes as well, but they were just, I felt like I was more challenged at the college level. So I was like, cool, like let me just do this. This is great. And it really helped with my education.
I feel like there is a big correlation between the creativity route with journalism and theater, and then like working in restaurants in a lot of different ways. Like what we do behind the bar is we're entertainers, and there is a little bit, it depends where you're at. If you're at fine dining, it's like very different. Fine dining, if you work at a neighborhood, dive bar, club, but like at least like what I do for a living is like I literally just talk to people all day and interact with them. And I have to, a big part of that is like coming up with ways to build relationships with guests. And because of the neighborhood spot, Stout Public House, which that's where we first met. You would come in after your shifts. You're working at Greystone?
Butcher's Cut, right
next to Greystone. You'd come in for a drink after your shift, and it's like, oh, here's Mollie. She's one of the gang, and there's just a line of bartenders there, and it's like, how do you interact? And it's like it's how do you build the relationships? How do you get this person to keep coming back? And one big thing I've always tried to express is just like kindness. Is just be kind to people. Is like that's like. I don't think I've always taken that approach, but that's like what I've learned through doing this year is just be kind to people, because a lot of people struggle in this industry, and you never really, once you do become the bartender, you kind of learn about, you're the ears, and you hear everybody, what they go through in life. But I'm going on a tangent. But anyways, yeah. So the entertainment aspect I thought was really cool. So where did you have plans to sort of, you said you were doing journalism. Did you want to get into creative writing? Did you want to get into movies? Or like, what was that? What was your thought process like?
I mean, I feel like when you're 16, 17, you still have that, you want to do everything, right? Like you have all these ambitions and you think you can do it all. And then you're like, oh no, I have to pay taxes.
Yeah, I have to pay rent.
Like groceries. There's actually, I have to be an adult with it. So for the longest time, I really wanted to be on SNL. I wanted to be on that route of like improv and acting and have fun with that. And then when I really got into journalism, and I had such a great time being able to express everything I was seeing through pen and paper. It was around the same time that I discovered Anthony Bourdain. I was like, oh, sick. I was like, here is somebody that is doing exactly what I want to be doing, but I want to do the liquid version. Like I want to travel to all these countries and sit down with multi-generational winemakers and understand why they've passed this down through the generations and why they go about cultivating their grapes the way they do. Why do they have the labels the way that they do? Like what's the story they're trying to tell? Or sit down with the spirit distributors, the creators and understand like how they pick their mash for sours or for ryes and like what they are doing and bring light to that. And I feel like Bourdain does such a good job of sitting down with multi-generational families at a table over a meal. I want to do that, but with the spirits and wine world.
Dude, it's really cool. I have like recently developed that same mindset. That wasn't something that I had earlier. I recently, like over the last year, learned about his story and what he brought to the industry.
Wow.
Stuff. But what he does a really good job at, he is incredibly knowledgeable, and he had his history through the industry for decades, right? That Kitchen Confidentials came out in 2001 when he was 43. So he was just like a lifer up until then, but he had the ability to, his voice, he had the ability to sell, to connect and communicate the industry to people. And it's like, that's his ability to do the sales aspects was what I think like set him off. So that's really cool that you kind of like, that's how I saw that too. And I think with today, with the ability to reach people with social media and the tools that we have, like it's possible to be creative and grow something like that. I think like you said you have an interest in like history and stuff. Like I'm so interested in that stuff, like the history of the restaurant industry, the history of liquor, bootlegging, like Al Capone, those early days, like that stuff's so intriguing to me. You know,
it's fascinating because it all tells a story. And I feel like it's something that as modern bartenders, we know the history of like the classic cocktails, right? But what about more than that? Like, what about the history outside of Prohibition? Like, why are we drinking what we're drinking? Why do we have guests that are going to come in from different parts of the country, different parts of the world, and have drinks that are so native to where they're coming from? And why are they asking us to make it?
Yeah, it's good to question things. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Like, do you ever do mushrooms?
Yes.
I do mushrooms from time. Yeah, my coworker Chelsea got me into those. It sort of just completely opens your mind to a bunch of different things you weren't thinking about.
Pretty colors.
But like, I do think about that, and you like, what is like the foundational elements of the restaurant industry? You know,
Ooh.
it's like it's a business. Mm-hmm. It's transactional. That's one way to look at it. And then there's also the hospitality aspect of we're here to provide a service for people. And I know maybe it's not really great to talk about these things, but like if you really want to make this your career, like it's good to understand the roots and things like that. And I do think about those things. And, you can make this perfect cocktail, this great experience for people. But like at the end of the day, if your restaurant isn't making money or you're not making money, like what are we doing here?
100%.
So I do try to like think about a lot of those things from time to time.
And it's a good thing to think about. I mean, I feel like we all have so many happy, good memories of going to a restaurant and sitting down in somebody else's restaurant or somebody else's bar and the memories that come from that. I mean, even Crafted Coop, you and I were talking about it, that we ran into each other the other night. Like, that's somebody else providing hospitality and a roof over our heads to be able to facilitate the next steps of you and I sitting down to do this.
Yeah.
And for those that aren't in the hospitality industry, they're still going to go out to a restaurant and eat at some point in their life. And they're still going to have somebody that takes care of them and makes an impact on their night, whether it's positive or negative.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's cool, man. Being in the industry, you kind of see it differently too. That's why, and San Diego is this like huge hospitality city with the convention center in Southern California and everything like that. So there's a lot of these places play to the industry crowd. So it's like a different, it's a different sell almost. And like Stout's one of those places too. But like, when you, with your theater background and all that stuff, like, what are you thinking, dude? Like long term, we're a few years apart. I'm trying to work creatively in the hospitality industry. You're trying to do the same thing. Like, do you have any ideas of like the direction you want to go with that?
I mean, I feel like there's still the little kid in me that's like 16, 17 saying, I want to do it all. I really want to travel. Okay. I want to see the world. I want to experience everything that life has to offer. And I feel like the best way to do that is to get out, go touch grass, but touch grass in multiple countries. Yeah. And then if I can really just combine my comfortability with talking to people, my hospitality, my journalism, and really be able to document everything that I'm doing, that would be the dream.
Yeah.
I mean, I really would just love to travel and talk about it and create an environment where people can ask questions. I feel like, I've met some older bartenders who are so jaded by what they're doing. And a younger bartender who's green, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed comes up and asks them like, why don't we put a sugar cube in our old fashions? And like,
Snaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't want that. I want to be able to curate that environment where people can come up and ask those questions. And if I can have a platform where they can just like hop on Google and be like, whoa, why did they do this here in Spain and not in the US? Or like, why do we put a sugar cube? And like, that's just there as a guidebook for those that work in hospitality or those that just have an appreciation for it.
Yeah. I think with what you just said about people getting bitter and snapping, like, you know, there are people who go through this industry who are lifers. I work with lifers, and I think the Stout crew, Mark, Dave, Adrian, Eileen, Chelsea, they're some of the best people I've worked with. You know them, like
they're amazing.
I think that sometimes I go to places and people are miserable, and I think you can get trapped in the cycle and stuck in this industry. But if you are, that's one of like the foundational things that I talk to people about is taking care of yourself as you go through this industry. Because when you're working around liquor, things can get the stresses of the job, the drinking on the job, the drinking after the job, the not taking care of your body, that can fuck up your life. So I've been, you know, I've had moments where I'm like, kind of like, am I about, like, don't go off the rails, dude. Like this, like, remember, this is a job. But it's like, if you're, you know, we're young. You know, I'm 34, you're younger than I am. We have the time to take these risks. Mm-hmm. And I think if you take calculated risks and things that you have passions for with plans, like, we should be going for these things. And I think that some of the bitterness might come in for some of those people because maybe they didn't have the confidence to take those risks.
100%.
And I think the way, you know, like, you have this idea that you want to go travel and try to make something, like, you should fucking go for that, dude. And like, try to like put something together. Like, I'm going for that with this podcast platform. And once you get into it, you realize how much work it takes. Mm-hmm. But you know what else takes a lot of work is running a bar for 15 years. Like, yo, that's, if you think that's like like, people think, oh, you work at a bar, or he manages a restaurant, or he owns a bar, or he must be like, it's really challenging to keep those balls spinning. So it's like, what kind of hard work do you want to do for the rest of your life? Because we're not going to get out of hard work.
No, 100%.
You know,
and it's so funny. I years and years and years ago, I dated somebody and they were so excited to retire. And we were in our like early 20s and I'm looking at him. I'm like, you're excited to retire? Like,
yeah,
there's so much more. Like, I love to work. My biggest role model in my life is my grandmother. She is in her 80s. She is this badass woman from Jersey. She used to work in Camden, where like she worked at a drug rehabilitation center. And this woman, I think, is retired 3 times. And she keeps doing things to help. Like right now, she's grant writing for a halfway house that she opened in her father's house in Boston. Wow. She's a badass. But I pull so much from her for her will to live. Like, she walks 3 miles every day. This is an 80-year-old woman that has her golden retriever out and walks for 3 miles at least every day. Yeah. Knows everybody in the neighborhood, knows them, knows their grandkids, knows the parent, like everybody. I love that. And it's because she's got the will to live and the drive to keep going on. And like, I don't want to retire, but I also don't want to wake up in 30 years and be like, what did I just do for the last 30 years? Right. Like, what do I don't need millions of dollars to show for it, but I want memories and I want to have connections with people and I want to leave an impact on my life and my surroundings. Yeah,
I'm the same way. And I think I find myself getting so trapped in the hamster wheel spinning, go a life, that sometimes I don't like sit and like really like process like what's going on, you know, like sit in silence, spend time outside, like breathe, like really like, you know, don't just constantly the next thing, the next shift, the next dollar, the next customer, the next dates, you know, the next party or industry events. It's like slowing down and realizing like we're in the fucking good time. You know what I mean? We're in the shit right now. But that's cool that that person is like at 80s and still doing it. And I don't look, people come to visit us for so many different reasons. And I think like, you know, having a beer, there's a balance, right? You can't if you're all far, yoga, no alcohol, fucking like you see those guys on social media who are like, I'm going to be the longest living person alive. I take so much care of my body, organic ice cubes and things like that. It's like, that's a far left extreme. And then there's the other far extreme where we're drinking every day before work and life fucking spirals. But it's like having the discipline to keep the balance so that we can live these long lives.
Well, and do you know what else comes into play is the happiness. Like,
Yeah.
I would challenge both of those people on either ends of the spectrum of like, are you happy? Like, are you enjoying your bowl of ice for dinner? Or are you enjoying waking up hungover every morning? Because I would put money on the fact that they're not happy, but they're doing it for some ulterior goal, whether it's...
Well, maybe they don't know. Maybe they don't know how, you know,
Sure.
like I'm not trying to like shit on people who are struggling.
No,
I think
no.
people like don't know how to have having the balance is hard is what I guess I'm trying to get at. And I think like I've been that guy. Like I was super overweight at one point. I was like, holy crap, I don't have control of my drinking and eating food. It wasn't just an alcohol and drug thing. It was like I am consuming. I have that constant feel to consume. Mm-hmm. So what I did is I did a vegan diet and I lost a bunch of fucking weight. And then I stopped drinking after that because the drinking was so bad. So I had to swing far left to that one side to sort of like regain sense of control. And then like slowly, it's like I would get mad at myself. Oh, I had a chicken sandwich. Like, damn. But it's like really like one chicken sandwich isn't that bad. But when you don't have control, you have to kind of set that bar really high. And then now I don't do the vegan diet and I'm not sober. And I feel like I've regained a sense of control for these things in my life. But like sometimes you got to do that. But then you have these people who are super strict, who are like grew up in the super conservative style family, who are like military style discipline, who don't know how to let loose and have fun. Yeah. And they just go like, they start drinking when they haven't drank in their whole lives and their life kind of goes off the rails a little bit. And like I had a friend of mine in high school who, I don't even tell these stories, but like he never drank. And then he started drinking in college and he got arrested a couple times because he didn't know how to handle that. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's the nicest guy in the world, but it's like, how do we find that balance is like a big thing that I'm trying to explore in my life and with my podcast, you know? How about like, have you struggled at all with your like mental health, or is there anything that you've kind of done to sort of like, you know, bring in the reins or things that work for you?
Yeah. I cannot advocate enough for therapy. And it's so funny because I know my wife's going to watch this and listen to the podcast later and be like, you're not in therapy right now. She's not wrong. And I need to go back because it really like being able to sit down and talk with somebody and just have that professional approach of like, hey, like you're depressed, but that's okay is huge. I mean, I grew up as an overachieving oldest child who like, I really strived for perfection. As much as I love being able to get a jump on my life early and start college at 16, like it really set unrealistic expectations for me that I always needed to act older. Huh. And it's come across as like, cool, like I'm really mature for my age. But then I hit a point a couple years ago where I was like, oh, like I'm acting my age. What's my new identity now? And I went through a whole identity crisis. I struggled with depression because of it, as well as just like I had so many friends that passed away. I have anxiety. I have all these things that like I think I had my whole life, but I just shoved down and gaslit myself to be like, no, I'm fine. Yeah. So then having it all bubble to the surface and being at a point in my life where like I could drink. I was 21 at that point, so I could go and be social, and when I'm extroverted and I'm out at the bar and I'm having a great time, like I'm not thinking about the fact that I'm depressed. I'm fine. Right. I'm fine. Everything's fine. And then that next morning comes and I'm like, no, like this is really bad. And having a good therapist that I could call and be like, hey, like I need tools to get myself out of this. And you know, sometimes it's sitting down and reading a really good mental health book. Sometimes it's literally just going outside and touching grass. I mean, it's seeing the sunset. I miss so many sunsets, as most of us do in this industry, because when are we outside at 6:30 at night?
Dude, I know, like walking my dogs in the morning. I know, I miss those things. Yeah. I actually miss the sunrises because we sleep in. So I love sunrise. Like when I get a good sunrise, I'm like, 6:30, I'm out with my dogs. It's like the best feeling. You know, it's a little cold. There's dew on the ground. It makes me think of, you know, back in Massachusetts. You said you were an overachiever, and a lot of people grow up in those households where like the pressure to succeed is overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
I was in my early 20s. I was teaching at a summer program at a school, and you had these 15 and 16-year-old boys and girls who were like, parents put all this pressure on them to succeed. If you don't get it, if you get a B plus, you're not going to get a 4.0, you're not getting the Ivy League. And you can see like what that does to kids. It creates this like unfair sense of pressure that they take through their lives. And it's tough, dude. And sometimes those people succeed, and that can create, pressure creates diamonds. Mm-hmm. But sometimes we see those people go off the rails in front of us.
100%. When I did, I didn't party in college. I was too young. I didn't drink. I didn't have that typical college experience. And I remember when I was living in Denver, it was the summer after I turned 21. I had just said, I'm going to cram 4 years of college partying into one summer.
Whoa, dude.
Whoa, dude is right. And I did. And like, I look back at pictures of myself from that time and I'm like, oh no, like I was really unhealthy. And I think that it was like such a really fascinating defining moment for me where like, I came into who I wanted to be as an adult after that summer, because I looked back at it and said, this is not what I want. Yeah. I don't want to wake up hungover every morning. I don't want to be miserable. I don't want to just be partying nonstop. Like, I'm not happy long term. I'm having 5 hours of happiness and I'm watching the sunrise entirely too many times because I haven't gone to bed. Yeah. Like, yep. It's not healthy.
There are bartenders who do they get off their shift, they party till noon, then they'll sleep for 6 hours and they'll go. It's like the opposite life.
Oh yeah. When I was in Denver, we had what was called the Jesse Radius, and it was because we were working, we were living, we were partying, we were sleeping in a 5-block radius. Like it maybe a mile most, and it was anything that you could walk to downtown, and there was like. I would go weeks without leaving this radius because it was just, everything was right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so back in those days when you were getting those 4 years into one summer, what was the drink of choice back then? Very curious about that. Was it vodka, beer, martinis?
It was tequila and really good wine.
Tequila and wine. Well, that's an interesting combo.
Wild.
That's a hangover like a motherfucker.
Oh, terrible, bro. Terrible. Oh. And I prided myself because I didn't get hungover for a really long time because I was so young.
Yeah, your brain was like,
what's happening? Yeah. No, it was so funny because when I moved to Denver and I got back into the hospitality industry, I was the youngest by years. So
how old were you at this age?
When I was 20, 19, 20.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was so funny. One of my friends came to my 20th birthday party thinking it was my 21st and had brought like all these really nice reserve bottles of wine. And I'm like drinking Francia out of the fridge. Yeah. And I'm like,
yep, I remember those days.
Yeah,
slap the bag.
100%. I had a great time. But then, like for my actual 21st birthday, like all of my friends had flown in from around the country. We had an Airbnb for the weekend, and I really liked really bad tequila, but really nice champagne.
Interesting.
Yeah,
that's a weird,
wild. Well, and it was because everybody that was around me was all so much older, so their tastes were a little bit more elevated. Huh. I don't know why shitty tequila has always been the thing, but like,
was it like a Cuervo, or are we drinking
like Sauza?
Sauza, baby. That's let's go, dude.
Gnarly. But it's interesting. Like I never had a UV blue phase. I really didn't get into buzz balls. Like there was all these like. Burnett's I didn't get into, like the shitty intro level things.
Flashback.
I could
taste it. Yeah, it's like, ugh.
I could smell it. I remember my friend had a flask at a club once, and she went to give me a sip, and I smelled it, and I go, "Oh, this is horrible. What is it?" She goes, "It's Burnett's." I go, "No."
You guys used to do the flask. I would do cans of Bud Light in my belt, and I put my sweatshirt over it. I walk in the bar, and I get the little plastic cup. I'm like, pop, pop.
Sick. You were ready. You were ready.
I knew how to save money when I was younger. Oh yeah. Or you do the nips in the back. I remember I went into a concert at the House of Blues once back in Boston. He patted me down. He's pulled out 5 nips of Jack Daniels. So what the fuck is this, dude? I'm like, sorry, I don't know. Like,
it's my emotional support, Jack.
Dude. I don't know. Yeah, dude, you can get creative when you're younger and like how to save money with alcohol. Oh my gosh.
Oh, 100%.
It's funny. I'm trying to think of what else. Parents' liquor cabinet. Yeah, that's enough for that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I didn't sneak things out of my parents' their cabinet, and they really like my parents have never really been big drinkers. But my my best friend, who was just the maid of honor in my wedding, her dads were super Italian, and the rule was that if we were staying the night, we could have a bottle of wine. And this was when I was in this is my senior year of college or high school, beginning of college. So we would have a bottle of wine. And I remember her and I texting about it one day, and she's like, oh, like, do you want Sauvignon Blanc? Do you want Chardonnay? Like, what do you want? And I'm texting her back, and I go, my mom owned a candy shop at the time, and I like went to go walk down to the shop to say goodbye to my mom, and she's standing there with her arms crossed, and she goes, so you're going to drink fucking Chardonnay? And I'm like, what do you mean, Mom? She's like, I have all your texts. You're not going anywhere. She made my friend come and like ripped her a new one about how we can't be drinking.
Yep. When I was younger, my parents made me throw my friend's bowl in a porta potty. And later they found it in my car. They found my friend's bowl. I was like, that's Graham's. I'll take his name out. And then they was like throw it in the porta potty. And then we went back later to try to recover it, and we were like, nope, not happening.
Oh, thank God.
It's gone. It's lost to the gods. It's lost to the party
pieces.
gods. Yeah, that's funny. All right. So, yeah. What do you want to get out of today's podcast? Like, we can take this in any direction you want. We could talk about your history in the industry. We could talk about your goals. We could talk about your upcoming job. Like, where are you at today? Like, how are you feeling about things in the industry? I know since I've met you, you've have management experience. You've moved to a couple different places. Like, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling really grateful for all of the opportunities that I've been able to be given, especially in the industry here in San Diego. I've had the honor of working in kind of the holy trinity of meccas of Gaslamp, Little Italy, and North Park, which all bring very different experiences and regulars and day-to-day activities. And I think if there's anything that I could really sit down and talk about in this podcast is talking about starting over when you move to a new state. I've in my bartending specifically career, I've been in Denver, I've been in Vegas, Phoenix, and Scottsdale, and now here in San Diego.
So when you told me that coffee the other day, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
And you're 28, if I can say how old you are.
I am.
So like, was that intentional, or was that like because moving around that much, I moved around a lot as a kid. I was in a bunch of different cities over the course of first grade to 12th grade, and then in my 20s, and it didn't really do me well. So like, was that because you chose that, or what was up with that? Before we go into all that, I'm curious.
Yeah, I mean, I chose it. I would say I chose most of it. So when I finished, actually in my last year of college, I'd gotten a internship opportunity in Denver, and I went out to intern for a summer, had a great time, went back home, finished up my year of college, and I had a job offer waiting for me back in Denver, working for a pharmaceutical tech company, super close to hospitality. Am I right?
Well, you can make good money in that industry.
You can.
Yeah.
And I was so young. It was my big girl job. It was my first time ever being salaried, and I loved my time in Denver, and I was there for a couple years, and then I said, you know what? Like, I'm young and dumb. Let me go be young and dumb in a new place. And I had friends who were like, we're doing it. They lived in Vegas, and they're like, we're doing a lot of traveling right now, and we need somebody to water our plants. Your rent's like $100 a month. Do you want to come move out to Vegas? And I said, sick. Yeah.
And how old are you again?
21.
21, water plants in Vegas for, like, that sounds kind of nuts.
It was super nuts. Living in a mansion.
We're in our young 20s, so we just roll with these things. Like, we don't think about consequences. It's like, but like, cause like me being 34, I think of that now, like, no, why the fuck would I do that?
Why would I do that? And I wouldn't do it again. You couldn't pay me enough money to do it again.
Okay. But so that brought you to Vegas.
That brought me to Vegas.
Okay.
And then I just was not happy in Vegas. It's not the city for me. Honestly, getting into the hospitality scene in Vegas when you are a transplant is decently difficult.
It's competitive.
It's so competitive.
People think it's like the wild, wild west. Not anymore. Maybe back in the 80s.
For sure, but it's not. And something that they don't talk about enough is that all of the casinos and everything that's down on the strip is all union.
And it's regulated.
And it's regulated.
Like it's not like, yeah. Yep.
It was a nightmare. Yeah. And I had fun with it. Don't get me wrong. Like, I was freshly 21 living in Vegas. I had fun.
Yeah.
But I ended up leaving and moving to Arizona January of 2020, just because I needed something new and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. But my now wife was like, oh, like, and we were already dating, but we were doing long distance. She's like, well, like, come move in with me in Phoenix. Like, we'll at least like get your feet under you, and then you can figure out where you want to go next. And this was January 2020, and I was living in a 2-bedroom apartment with her and her roommate and her roommate's boyfriend, and it was a little cramped. I'm still so grateful they took me in. Yeah. But then COVID hit, and I was like, oh no, like I'm here to stay for a little bit. Like I need to ride out whatever's happening in the world.
Yep.
And it was nice. I'm really grateful that I got to be in Phoenix, Scottsdale area during COVID. And I had a good time with it. And I remember looking at my wife a couple years ago and being like, hey, I can't do the desert anymore. Like this is not the place for me. And we went to Seattle to visit, and we thought we were going to move out there. And then we ended up coming out here because she's a teacher. We came out here for one of her summer breaks, or spring break, sorry. And we're sitting on the beach, and I looked at her and I go, so rainy Seattle or sunny San Diego? And
seriously.
She's like, you bitch, of course I want to be here, but we can't afford it. I'm like, no, it's about the same price right now.
Yeah.
And we moved out here, and it's been great. So I all of the moves that I've done in my adult life have been voluntary. I think that there's many that I now probably wouldn't do again, but I'm so grateful that I did it when I was younger because it gave me so much experience.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a learning experience. I'm not doing this shit again, dude. I can't keep moving fucking cities and starting over because it's a lot of work. Like you said, like you rolling into Vegas. And I was very fortunate that I was able to get the work at Stout, which is like this local neighborhood Irish pub, because I came right as the city was like starting to open up, and they needed people, and that's how I fit in there. Is literally I like it was like, dude, anyways, but everything else aside from the job has been, you get to be into your mid-30s and you start thinking about your life. Do you want to have a family? Do you want to have kids? Do you want to get married? It's just been fucking chaotic. You know, so it's like I can't go do this in another city again unless I want to be the person who just like rolls through life, moving around. And for some people, like you said, you want to travel and experience things. Like I think I've always lacked stability. So like I've just lived in this constant like hamster wheel. So like it's taken me a few years to get stability. Like I make it look, our lives on social media, the way people see us live is glamorous, and like the social media is not a reality of how we all live.
It's true.
And it's like there's a lot of, I don't know, dude. I had to figure it all out. Like this is an incredibly expensive city. And it's like, I've been doing this by myself. I got 2 dogs who have been very quiet during this entire podcast.
I know, props to them.
Heard them. Yeah. But, yeah, man, it's like part of life. It's like how the decisions that you make when things aren't going your way is sort of like how we're defined. So when things are easy and you have everything given to you, it's easy to do well, but it's like, how do you work under pressure? How do you work? And that's what like being successful in a restaurant is, because there's a lot of pressure working in a restaurant. It's like from so many different aspects, and it's cool, man. It's a journey. It's like we got to figure it out. But anyways, so you did all these, you moved around and you landed here in San Diego, and your wife's a teacher. Was that, was she able to like find work here fast? Like how did that work?
Yes. Okay. So if you don't know, Arizona is 49th in teacher pay and happiness. Yeah. When she got her master's in Arizona, she got a $500 a year stipend, which is nothing. No, she was
like $1 a day.
Yeah. Almost. Terrible. So when she came out here as having her master's, having experience under her belt, her phone blew up. But when we first got out here, she actually was burnt out from teaching because things were so bad in Arizona. So she took a break. She actually tried the hospitality industry. It was really cute.
Yeah,
I give her props. Love you so much. It's not for her. She's really good with kids.
Skill set. It's a skill set.
It is a skill set. I could never be a teacher. And she did a great job when she was in hospitality. But then she hit a point where she's like, I think I'm ready to go back to teaching. And she is so phenomenal at what she does. Any school that has her is lucky to have her. She's currently teaching up in Escondido. And I think that I've watched her really impact positively so many kids' lives.
It's tough. I did I was a bartender. I did teacher for a while, and it's tough because you have the opposite schedules, and we work nights and weekends, and they work day 9 to 5.
Yep.
And it's tough because especially when you're working late nights, trying to like give your partner attention and energy and like go out to dinner and stuff. And when you got your ass kicked at the bar all weekend, it's hard. Do you guys find that? How is that going for you? The balance in your relationship with that?
It's a lot better now. When we first started dating, it was tricky. It was, I'd tell her I would get off at 8:00, but what bartender ever in their career says they're getting off at one time and actually get off at that time?
Yeah.
Like I'd be walking in the door at 9:15 and she'd be like, well, where were you? Like, swear to you, like I'm still at work.
Yeah.
But we've been together for so long that we understand how to work our schedules to maximize our time together the best, and B, just to really be so understanding with each other.
You have good communication. That's good.
I'm so grateful for our communication. I had the luxury of marrying my best friend, and every day that I get to spend waking up next to her, I think is such a beautiful, beautiful thing. And she really does just communicate and trust and respect me so much, and that is given back, and I think that makes things so much easier. I would say that probably our biggest struggle right now is getting all of our laundry done. Two women in a household that work opposite schedules, that laundry pile in the corner is gnarly. But if that's our biggest issue, I think I'm coming out on top.
That's cool. I'm happy for you that you found somebody like that you can make it work. And it's like it's not easy, dude. Doing the restaurant thing and expending ourselves to our guests for a living, and then trying to find time for our significant others is tough, dude. It's tough. Yeah, like for me, for example, we saw each other at an industry event on Wednesday. I had recorded a podcast episode that day. I go to the industry event at night. I talk to you. We're drinking beers, hanging out. We planned this overnight. I woke up the next morning. I recorded an episode. Then the life of a aspiring podcaster, I'm out trying to feel out the neighborhood. I was at the Lafayette checking that out. Yo, the Lafayette is bumping.
It's sick.
It's pretty crazy to see what that place has done. The changeover that it had and the complete, it's packed. Everybody's on their phone. You know what I do when I walk into these places? I observe. I observe what's going on. I observe how the staff is working, the customers, what is everybody doing? Let me tell you something. Everybody is on their cell phones at that place. We are in this social media era of selfies and spaces and Instagrammable bars. And it was interesting to see.
It is.
It was really interesting to see. So I'm just like taking it all in. Like you got to know the landscape, and I'm trying to figure that out. So I do that. I wake up, I do the next morning. We go Stout Public House anniversary party.
Happy anniversary, Stout.
Happy anniversary, Stout. I wake up the next day. I take my dog to the vets, trying to figure that whole thing out. Work Saturday night. Come here Saturday morning. I take my dog back to the vets. Then I went on a date last night. So I'm dating too.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But then it's like you wake up, you do this episode, and then I go back I have to work tonight after the shift. And it's like we do have these like hamster wheel lives of constant go, go, go. And it's tough, and it's tough to find balance. So, working in having the relationships, dating in the industry, when you're in the industry can be tough.
It can.
Yeah, just trying to find time for your significant other and to give them energy and things like that when our cycles are just constantly blah 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 blah. But yeah, dude, what do you think? Do you notice any the restaurant industry 2025? I'm seeing everybody on their phones. Everybody's taking social media. These people, these bars are hiring companies to come in, build the Christmas, the lights, the things like that. Like when you go out, did you see a shift? Like what are your thoughts on where we're at today?
Yeah, I think one of the craziest things that I see is this shift away from the bar itself.
Okay.
Like if you're going in to eat dinner, it used to be everybody would kind of funnel to the bar, they'd have a good time, they'd eat dinner up there, and now it's like, maybe I'll grab a drink at the bar before I go to my table. And you're seeing the floor and the servers be exponentially busier than the bar itself.
What kind of spots are you going into where you're seeing this?
You know what? I went to Nolita actually last night to pick up some bottles for R&D for a competition next week because I'm very behind on my R&D. And the bar had 3 or 4 guests at it and the tables were full.
Okay. Nolita Hall, that's like the That's in Little Italy, and there's like a bunch of different shops. And there's that one. I don't think I haven't been there a couple
Oh, you
years.
should check it out. They just decorated for Christmas. It looks great. But there's like the planes fly over. It's right next to where Camino was.
I got you. So you're saying that you're noticing the table service and people are going out to eat.
For sure. But even being behind the bar in the couple of restaurants that I've been behind the bar out here in San Diego, it's a struggle to get people to the bar. I feel like the tables are getting hit so much harder. And if people are at the bar, generally they're waiting because we're behind on their reservations. So they're just grumpy.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I guess I go to places that are like local spots that don't have necessarily that issue. Like the places I like to hang out, like the Reunion, which is like a little neighborhood spot down in Point Loma. We've been going to Lucy's. I hang out at Stout. We've been hanging out at Craft to Coop. So those places I guess don't really have, but I guess if you're the restaurants, yeah, I guess. So do you think people are looking for that more like dining experience?
100%.
Okay.
But unless the bar is super Instagrammable, then they want to sit up at the bar and they want to take their cute little photos.
Gotcha.
Like, I mean, Lafayette is structured where it's very bar focused, right? Like even I've really only been to like the lobby bar and beginner's diner, but you sit at the bar, like that's what you do. But even that's a lot of Consortium's vibes as well.
Yeah, they do a really good job at that. They do create these magnificent spaces and things like that. Yeah, it's cool. You know, well, I tend to go towards the places around there. Like I was at Livewire the other night with the guy at the door.
I haven't been yet.
You never been at Livewire? They're the guy. One of their guys checking IDs he comes in a Stout, so it was nice to go see him and visit him. And Gillies is right around the corner. You know, they have some cool bartenders. I tend to go to places where I know people who work there. Of course. Not because I'm looking for like free drinks or anything, but you want to go support your friends. So, but yeah, I just try to always look at like where the industry is going. And it's not about like following the trends, because I don't think that's like necessarily always the right play. What's great about what these guys at Stout are doing is they run that like a traditional Irish bar in terms of this is what we are. We're not going to follow those little trends. We're going to be us. You can love us or hate us. And it's been 18 years, and we just had our anniversary, and that's what I've learned from those guys is to almost like don't play what Anthony Bourdain talks about in Kitchen Confidentials, which is what I was tapping at earlier. Failing restaurant syndrome, which is when you see owners and people just happy hour this, happy hour that, half off this, like that's almost when you see people like start to panic and like, how can I get customers in? That's like almost like a sign of a restaurant that might fail.
100%. And it's such a shame. Like I feel like there's the frillier and more a restaurant pours into its decor and the less that it does into its food and beverage, you can tell. Like if you walk into a restaurant and you're like, oh, like this is really pretty, and you take your first bite and you go, oh, this is not the food that I want. It's this really weird paradox, because then people will be one-timers and they'll go in for their photos, but they're not going to come back. You're not going to have regulars there. You're just going to have the, I want my Instagrammable moment, let me move on. Yeah,
and we are in that era.
And we are.
But is that sustainable? We're going to find out.
We will.
We're going to find out. You know, it's like something, I'm not saying it's not going to work, but we'll see. Everything changes. What was I going to say about that? Yeah, it's like consistent. You want to have with that. Yeah. I think it's about consistency. And I've always tried to, I think the places that there's so many, we're talking about so many different elements of the industry right now. So I don't want to like generalize too much, but I think like a base knowledge is like, can you provide like quality hospitality? Yeah. Like hospitality is like a big focus for places that survive. The interaction with guests, can you provide an experience for these people? But a lot of those people do that we're talking about, the experience they want is the look.
And that's true.
And that's why those places are kind of leaning into that. So it's a catch-22. It's like, what do you want to be? Like I've always worked for small businesses and Stouts. I've never worked for the Consortium Holding type places or these other Lafayette type places. But I mean, look, the place was packed. So clearly they're doing something right. I'm not saying that they're wrong for that. It's just the preference,
of course.
It's all preference.
Well, Consortium does a good balance of putting money into its environment, but still retaining a really good F&B program.
Yeah.
But then, like, for Stout, I mean, there were some nights that I stopped in where I didn't necessarily want to drink. I just wanted to be in that environment because what you guys do there is hone in so deeply on hospitality. You knew everybody that was walking in the door for the most part, and everybody there had good conversations and would take care of everybody else.
Yeah, I think my honest opinion on that is I think that those guys are just really hard workers, and they understand, like, it's just about they're like, hey, what's going on? Let's have a conversation. And it's less about, like, I don't know, they don't, like, focus on hospitality. They're just themselves.
Yeah.
And they've just been consistently doing that for 18 years. And they've created a great culture. They've created a great culture. And I've met some really great people as guests and my coworkers there and stuff. But what else, dude? What else, we've talked kind of about relationships, maybe future goals. We are talking about trends right now. What do you think? Like, you said something the other day about people are going on cocktail programs. They're going on ChatGPT.
Oh my God.
That's an interesting kind of thing.
100%. It's funny. I remember a couple years ago, actually, my manager at the time threw, I don't know what he put, maybe it was just like the food menu into ChatGPT, and it came up with a whole bunch of cocktails. And he looked at me and he goes, see, you don't even need to be here. I can put it in. I go, sick. Great. Cool. But you know what? I'm seeing it happen so much where, like, I was serving this table the other night, and I asked them, I was like, oh, like, do you have any questions about the menu? And they're like, no, we're good. And I come back over and I can see his phone, and this man has put the entire food menu into ChatGPT and said, what should I order?
No way.
I swear to God.
That's funny,
I'm looking at it. I'm like, so do you have any questions for me? And he's like, well, I didn't know what a lot of these words were. I'm like, okay, like, can I help you with that?
Yeah, like that's
literally my job.
This is why I'm here,
Like,
yeah.
I am here for you. It's ChatGPT me.
Ooh, nice,
right,
dude.
right.
It's got a little ring to it.
I love it.
Let's put it like, let's do a little test.
Okay.
All right, what do we want to put into ChatGPT? Like, I'm a customer.
Okay.
All right, so I'm a 34-year-old bartender.
Oh, this is giving Reddit vibes.
Loves Guinness and whiskey. Okay. I'm at a Guinness and whiskey.
I'm ordering a burger.
And I'm ordering a burger. What kind of restaurant are we at right now?
Let's do a happy hour at a beach bar.
Happy hour at, what's the, Lena's? Do they serve food there?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. Happy hour at a beach bar in PB.
Perfect.
What's my drink order and how many do I have? Okay, let's just see what ChatGPT says. Okay. Oh, it just says get a Guinness and a Jameson. That was the lamest fucking example we could do.
Okay, put in they're out of Guinness and Jameson.
No Guinness, no Guinness and no Jameson. Let's see. Pacifico, Modelo, Whiskey Sidecar, High West, Buffalo Tracer Powers. Is this like where the industry is going, where like we don't know what decisions to make, so we like just ask? I think like that's a real thing.
Oh, 100%. Because people are really good about getting their opinions from other people. Like, if you take everybody being on their phone the other night at Lafayette, right? They're all going to post photos that they were at Lafayette, and somebody else is going to look at those photos and go, oh, somebody else made the decision to go there and they had a good time, so I'm going to go there.
It's psychology.
Yeah. So now we have ChatGPT, which takes out any need for photos or talking to an actual person, and you can just put in like, this is what I want, this is how I'm feeling, this is what I need, Like, talk me through it.
We're gonna get to a point where there's just like you don't even like interact with the guests. You just the guests will just show you their phone and they say, but that's like, but that's not like why people come out, because they want to have that interaction with people. You know, like that's why I think. Well, I would think like that's why I go out, is so I can interact, so I can be around other people, because I can sit and drink for much cheaper at home. You know.
Oh, 100%. My sister's 15, right? So we're being raised in very different times, and she just went out for a nice dinner for her birthday with our dad and her partner. And I asked her, I was like, oh, like why are you going to the restaurant that you want to go to? And she's like, well, there was a photo with a lot of cheese. I'm like, all right, 15, love that. But it's like, at least like she's at a point where she's looking at photos and reviews, which is great, but how much longer is it before she has access to, because she doesn't have access right now to Instagram and TikTok, and like when she does get access, like is she just going to scroll through all of it? God knows, like I do it at 28. I wanted to know where to have my birthday dinner the other night, and I'm scrolling through all the photos on Instagram. I'm like, this looks great. It's
kind of wild when you like, I don't even ever think about that because we're a bar, but like 15-year-olds are seeing all the same restaurant bar content as we are.
100%.
And how does that like, that's so interesting, you know?
Yeah. And I'm curious, in like 10 years, what is that going to look like during a hiring process? Like, are these people that are coming in and applying, are they applying because they really want to be a part of hospitality? Or are they applying because they thought the pictures on social media look cool? Do they know how to have a good conversation with a guest without throwing it into ChatGPT of like, the guest has a peanut allergy, what on the menu doesn't have peanuts?
Yeah, it's like that. So like social, the way these technologies working with AI and phones and Instagram, that social interaction, especially over COVID, is like, it's like leaving a little bit.
100%.
So like, what is that gonna? Yeah, that's gonna be really interesting, and not only from like getting a job, but like interacting with the guests. You know. It's kind of why it's weird to think about those things. Like, are we gonna have AI robot bartenders in 30 years?
Oh, like, there was a bar, I want to say in Vegas, that like had a robot bartender. And
really?
I was out there a couple years ago. Actually, for my bachelorette. I was there for my bachelorette, and we saw it. And I remember my friends looking at me and going, "Are they coming for your job?" And I go, "Please God, I hope not." But it's true. Like, what happens when people want to go to a bar and not talk to anybody, but they just want somebody else to cook for them?
That's very common. We see that all the time.
We do.
That's fine. You know, it's like you just want to get out and be like, I'm like that. Sometimes I go out. I don't really want to talk to anybody. I just want to like get out of my house and go have somebody cook me, like have a meal without having to cook and clean, and like go to the grocery store. It's like time consuming. That's like why people go out. And
but you're still okay with like interacting with people. You're not like, if given a choice, would you, when you don't want to talk to somebody, right? But like you still want to go and have a dinner at a bar. Are you going to choose a person, or if there was an AI option, would you choose AI?
That's an interesting question. Who knows? Some people, we like very well could be in that second option in the years to come. I don't. Yeah. Who knows, dude?
Wild. Absolutely wild.
But I don't know.
Also, ChatGPT recommending Pacifico for a Guinness is crazy to me.
Yeah, maybe just one because I said I was a bartender and they know that. Who fucking knows? Oh, dude, I thought of this. I thought of a really cool idea for like a reality show. I want to hear your opinion. How funny this would be. What if you took if you started a bar, you started across the street from each other. You built a bar, same buildings, structures, and you did on one side, it was an Italian restaurant, wine program, chef, everything. And on the other side, it was just a traditional Irish pub. Corned beef and cabbage, shepherd's pie, Guinness, whiskey, everything. And then you hired full staff, Italians over on the Italian restaurant side from Italy, very cultural knowledge, Irish. You've hired all Irish on the Irish bar. And on the day one of opening, you just like swap the staff.
Oh, I love that.
You guys got to figure it out. And whoever can keep the lights on the longest wins. Like, what would happen? Who do you think? Like, how does that outcome happen? That's so funny to think about.
Like, I can hear the panic. It's not even like there's not coherent words. There's just the like the cursing in different languages. But like ultimately, I think that they could do it, because if you're in this industry and you are adaptable, you can step behind any bar. It might take you a minute and you might make a lot of mistakes, break a lot of glass. But ultimately, like if you got thrown in tomorrow to Lafayette, you could still pour drinks. You could still talk to the guests.
Yeah, I would figure that out. Well, I mean, not maybe an idea what, but yeah, that's like mixology and all that stuff. It depends where you're at, but like just culturally though, imagine like a bunch of like Irish people trying to like sell like wine in the pasta. I guess, I mean, you just figure it out, but and then you have a bunch of like Italians and like the very like, that whole culture trying to like
Ciao, Bella, have some corned beef.
Yeah, have some fucking Jameson and beer and a shot and stuff like that. That'd be a really funny thing. I don't know. I just, these are the things I think about when I'm like bored. I'm like, what would happen if you just fucking created chaos like that? My brain just goes, I just think of chaos all the fucking time.
I love it.
Yo, you want to know this really weird thing that I woke up to this morning? So I'm in this group chat of a bunch of restaurant people here in San Diego, like 250 people on Instagram. And they constantly put out job offerings. This is an event going. Hey, does anybody have like this unique bottle that I can't find? And somebody put in a group chat, The Bear is hiring actors for season 5.
Oh, I want to apply.
And
I need the link.
I was in my bed last night and I just clicked on it. It was Marina who
she's wonderful.
She's over at Cardellino. They just opened their new speakeasy at Carlo.
Yes, I'm seeing it all over my social media.
Yeah, everyone's talking about it. It looks really beautiful.
Sick.
They did Friends and Family this weekend. We went to Cardellino for dinner last night, and I tried to get in, and there's a guy at the door with a clipboard, and me and my date roll up, and I'm like, dude, I'm Wellness on the Rocks. I'm media. Fucking let us in. And he goes, you're not on the list. Get back to the line.
Wow.
No, I'm just kidding. He didn't say that. That was a joke. That didn't happen. But anyways... So I clicked on the link, and it was one of those things where you just do autofill. You just like press a button, it enters all your information, and you hit send. And I woke up this morning with a message saying, "Hey, we're doing open call. Can you join?" It says, "Good morning. I got the talent application you submitted and want you to attend a virtual open call tomorrow at 1 p.m. Which one does that work for you?"
Oh my God,
fucking wild!
That's amazing.
Like. It didn't ask for experience. It didn't ask for, are you an actor? Are you in the industry? What are your headshot or anything? But like, dude, isn't that like fucking weird?
I could totally see you on The Bear.
I mean,
You'd kill it.
I don't really have acting skills, but I have podcasting skills. That's something
If you need a reference, put me down. I'm going to vouch for you so hard.
Yeah, it's just it's like I feel like as bartenders we are kind of like entertainers and like a little bit of actors
constantly. We're constantly putting on a show.
So that's why I was like, maybe that could, I don't know.
I think you could do
like
it.
Like an extra, or like, do you need like some, who knows?
They're actually going to do a pop-up next season in an Irish bar.
Really?
No, I don't know.
I don't know.
Could you imagine?
Come down to San Diego, like, yeah.
What crossover episode?
I think those are like good. Just you meet somebody, like the networking in this industry with that is like really important to focus on. So
it is. Well, and especially I mean that's something that every time I move somewhere new, one of the first things I try and do is just establish a network. Yeah. And it's not that I I go out and I talk to people and I listen. I mean, you and I were kind of talking about this over coffee the other day, where like as bartenders, as people in hospitality, our job is to listen to our guests, know their wants, know their needs. And sometimes, especially behind the bar, people just want to come and tell you their deepest, darkest secrets, and you're just going to hold on to it because they just need somebody to talk to. So now to have this platform where like you can sit down and talk with somebody else and talk to a fellow bartender and let them talk back is crazy. But then when I go to somewhere new and I want to create my network, like I'm going to go sit down at a bar and I'm going to ask questions and I'm going to listen.
Yeah.
Like I want those answers. I want to know like, where are you going on a date? You're going to Cardellino? Awesome. I haven't been yet. Like, let me take my wife out on a next date night because somebody that I know and I've now built this trust with is telling me to go there.
Yeah. Yeah. You never really know who's on the other side of the bar.
No.
It's like we do, we're on the receiving end of people who like oftentimes struggle to express themselves. Mm-hmm. And we see that throughout our whole careers. So I think we get a little bit more of a glimpse of what like reality of life is for so many people in this country. And it just changes your perspective on people. I think, as opposed to if we had this like, and there's a lot of other jobs, I think like nurses or like that, police officers, so many other people who work in like service-based industries, medics and EMTs and stuff. But it's just, you can cut off empathy and just say, you're a customer, I need to make money, which is ultimately like, may not be the may be the best way to do it. But I think like trying to, I don't know, I kind of like go back and forth with that a little bit.
Yeah, spend time in other people's shoes. Yeah. I have somebody right now who really wants to bartend, and he's never bartended before. And he asked me, he's like, well, like, what advice do you have for me? And my first and foremost thing is anticipate that everybody comes to your bar is having the worst fucking day of their life. And it's like, it's kind of morbid and it sucks. But if you can have that compassion right off the bat that somebody's like going through hell and back, and what they need right now is a drink and to leave everything else at the door, you will slip into a hospitality mode so quick. It's so important to, when we walk into work, leave everything that we're going through at the door and be able to just be really selfless and be there for the guests that are at our bar.
Very important. Very well said. Very well said. Yeah. I try to remind that it's not about us. It's about them.
It's about them. And everything's so expensive these days. So this person is willingly coming to your establishment to spend their money on the business. I mean, that's a huge thing in and of itself. And it's something that I feel like a lot of us take for granted because, you know, you go to a bar, you spend money, duh. But like, San Diego's expensive. Life is expensive. Going out and drinking is a luxury. So for people to come in and choose you and choose your bar and your program and your hospitality over the hundreds of other bars that are in the city is kind of an honor.
Thousands.
Mm-hmm.
Multiple thousands. I mean,
Thousands.
It's all over the place. I have to constantly remind myself that, and I see that with other people sometimes too, is we're the center of attention. There was a moment in our anniversary party where I was like kind of making everybody laugh and putting on a show, and I could feel the whole place looking at me, and I'm just like, I actually fucking hate that feeling. But like, I do, like, it's not about us. We're the center stage. We have to be outward. Mm-hmm. We have to be like, we're here to make your life better. And sometimes we are the jokesters and the stand-up comedians and stuff like that, but I see that a lot. And it's tough. It's easy to get like an ego in this industry.
It is. I had somebody recently tell me that I use very possessive language when it comes to like I was referring it to as my cocktail in my bar program. And it's interesting because it was a new perspective where I wasn't coming from a place of possessiveness. It was pride. It was, this is my team. Like, I am here with my team in the freaking trenches right now, and I'm having fun, and like, this is my cocktail that I'm putting in front of you. And it was like my self representing the brand, not like, this is my restaurant.
Well, there's a couple ways to look at that. It seems like you care.
Oh, so much.
And you're almost like treating it as if this was my own. This is how I'm going to treat this place. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting, because people say that about me sometimes. I've been asked the question, is this your bar? And I'm like, are people asking me that because I'm super entitled and arrogant here? Or is it because I'm trying to treat you guys like this was my home? And like, that's how I at least think about it, because I don't know how else to fucking act.
No.
I don't know how else to do it. You know, when you're working next to the guys who it is their bar, I just mirror them. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't know.
Well, it's the pride. I mean, it's the knowledge that you have on the job you're doing and the product you're selling, as well as the pride in what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because those aren't things that you can fake. Like, you have the pride in the job that you're doing, or you don't, and it's very apparent. You can walk into a restaurant very quickly, and I should say, if you're in hospitality, you will understand hospitality, and you walk into a restaurant and the staff is miserable, it's very apparent.
Yeah.
But if you walk into somewhere and everybody's got their flow, they have their job down, and they have this air of knowledge and pride, you feel so much more welcome. Like, I loved coming into Stout, and it's when I was in my vodka phase, and you guys had the bottle of Stoli Elite for me, and I would walk in and go, vodka? Great. And like, it was such a fun time. There was one time where I walked in, you guys didn't have the bottle, and like, you were so sorry. I'm like, no, it's okay. Like, I'm sure I finished it. Like, it's fine. But you made so many recommendations of other things that I could pivot to. And you know, it's so funny. I kind of feel bad admitting this, but I could not tell you who the owner of Stout is, because you all move through that place so proudly.
Good. That's good. Yeah, that's good. That's the goal. I think that the way I try to treat everything the same. Like, I heard Jay-Z say this line once. He's like, I don't change the way I talk to people. This is who I am. I talk to everybody the same. And I definitely don't do that, but I try to do that. I try to treat people with the same levels of respect, regardless of who they are, what their job title is, what they look like, and stuff like that. But I try to treat the podcast the same way I treat bartending and the same way I treat everything else in my life. And not everybody has to do that. Sometimes you're a student and that's just a job to make some money to get you through school, or you have kids and you're like, dude, I need this money for my daughter. Like, that's very different. But it's just like how you approach one thing is how you are going to approach your life. And the decisions you make when nobody's looking, that's who your character really is. It's easy to act like you're the great bartender when the manager is looking at you. When you're closing down the bar and there's cash on the table and everything, like, those decisions really do define who you are,
It's true.
And it's like how you treat the guest who comes in once a month for $1, and then how you treat the guest who comes in every other day. And yeah, dude, it's like, these are just things. I'm not perfect in all these areas, but these are things to reflect on when you're going through this process,
Of course.
It's your reputation. And people remember these things.
They do. They really do. And San Diego is such a small industry. There are thousands of restaurants, as we just said, but everybody knows everybody. Mm-hmm. And if you make an ass out of yourself in this scene, it's going to follow you so quickly.
Yeah. I think it's okay to get fired from a job. It's like kind of like how you get fired, you know?
100%.
Because I know, like, you get caught stealing from a place, that's a black mark on your, people will always remember.
1,000%. And even like how you hold yourself when you're getting fired. Like, if you go out, you're like smashing bottles and you're flipping everybody off and you're like, this place can pocket, like, everybody's gonna remember that.
And I know people who have done that.
And you know what? And that sticks with you.
Yeah.
But if you take it, you run with it, and you go, you know what? Shit happens. Like, what's next? People remember that too.
Yeah, dude, it's funny. It's a wild industry.
It really is. There's nothing like it.
and like learning about how like other places are run, it's like it's not this like corporate, well, some of the places are, right? Like, it's a lot of hotels, the Hiltons, the Marriotts, the Hotel Dells, but like a lot of the small mom and pops, man, there's a lot of chaos.
There is. Do you know what I think would actually be a great reality show is 365 days of stages.
Oh, interesting.
You just stage at a new restaurant every day and just like
experience. No, that would be really fun.
Really fun,
like,
right?
I would love to do that.
100%.
Just like to see what restaurants are like.
Yeah. I mean,
the culture.
I feel like actually going back to the Bear, they have so many stages and it like pulls light into what a stage is, right? And I think it's so fascinating because you do learn so much at each place that you go. Some really good habits, some really bad habits. It's fascinating to see what's happening in the heart of house in each kitchen and in each restaurant.
The truth is, it's a lot of these restaurants and bars are like, somebody runs a team and a culture, and like it's almost like not likability and popularity, but what's the word I'm looking for? It's like, this is how we're going to run things. You could be the best bartender in the world. If you don't fit into that system, you're not going to work out there.
Oh, 100%. You know what? I struggled with this when I was staffing Wilma's. So that carousel bar down in Little Italy.
I remember that, yeah.
I have never struggled more in my life to staff that restaurant, not because there wasn't people applying, which I was so grateful for. We had so many applications, but it was such a small knit team and such a really cool environment that I needed to find somebody or multiple people that would just blend in. And I was so grateful for the team that I put together in the end.
I didn't know if you wanted to talk about some of your past places. Like, you obviously were the GM at the Carousel Bar.
I was.
And unfortunately, that place isn't around anymore.
Rest in pieces.
So it was hard to staff that place. What was one of the more challenging aspects that you had to deal with, and like, how did you grow and learn from that?
In regards to staffing, or just
anything with that experience? I mean, you opened a new restaurant as the GM.
I started as the AGM,
Okay.
and I will say the GM that I worked under, it was one of the best managers that I think I've ever had the pleasure of working alongside and learning from. I've never met somebody that has truly known how to cultivate a team environment better than he did. And I'm so grateful for all the things that I got to learn from during my time there. I didn't really, again, with staffing, there was two kind of funky things. One, I needed to make sure that like they would work with the team environment and like.
How big of a staff was it? Was it a kitchen too?
Tiny. Yeah, but there was 3 people in the kitchen.
Okay, so 3 kitchen.
Three
and then
kitchen.
how many people in the bar staff, front house?
I did have a great bar manager that took care of the bar staff, but I want to say there was maybe 5 or 6, and then like 3-4 servers. Like
so
we
we're
were
looking like 10 and
tiny.
3, so less than 15.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
got
yeah.
you.
It functioned, and then there were some support members, but it would function as a very small staff, and the space itself was very small, but also the bar spun. I mean, that was
Dude, yeah. So literally, it was for those who don't know, it was a carousel as a bar.
Yeah, it's modeled after the one in New Orleans. It was one rotation of the bar itself spinning every 12 minutes, and something that we didn't anticipate was some of our bartenders got motion sickness.
I mean,
from being behind the bar,
you
just
kind of
watching.
gotta think about that. When
You do. But like,
that's so funny.
I would end up restructuring my interviews the longer that I was there to ask like people later down the line, like, hey, 2 questions. Like 1, do you get motion sickness? Yeah. And 2, how do you feel about heights?
I never went in to visit that place. How long did it take to do a full circle?
12 minutes.
12 minutes. Okay.
And we sped it up. That was full speed. And it still was very
so
slow.
Bananas. Like, was it like a big cocktail program?
Yeah, it was a great cocktail program. It was under SDCM's umbrella.
So were the guests like with the spinning, or the guests seated and you spun around
No,
them?
the guests spun, the bartenders did not.
The guests spun?
Yeah, so it was really interesting. So from like the bar top and the seats spun, but the rail and everything into the center of the bar did not spin.
Okay.
Yeah. And if a bartender wanted to get out, you either waited the 12 minutes for the rotation to end, and we had to stop the bar because it lined up in one spot where you could walk in and out of the bar, or you hopped over the bar, which was a lot of fun.
That sounds so, I don't know if I could, you do
It's
feel
wild.
a little trapped back
Yeah.
there.
Well, and then everything's up ladders. So the stock room was up ladders. My office was up a massive ladder. Our other stock room was up a massive ladder. Like everything
so there
was
was
up.
this like structural, what's the word I'm looking for? Logistical aspect to that it didn't quite work.
Yeah. I mean,
Or that you had struggles, that was challenges.
100%. Every restaurant has its challenge. I think that the mechanics of this one were the ultimate challenge. I didn't realize that I should have restructured my brain that this wasn't just a restaurant, it was an amusement park.
Yeah. Entertainment.
Yeah. And the money into the maintenance for the carousel. And this thing was a beast. It was so much fun. I will say that I probably feel the most amount of regret for my time there, just because I really fell into a party environment, and I think it's the only time that I have partied that much at work, and that's not the type of manager or employee that I like to be. So I really had a lot of reflection after leaving.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's good to learn from those things.
And I did.
Yep.
And it's really, it gave me a great example of what I do not want to replicate in my career. And I walked away with a lot of knowledge.
That's really important. That's really, it's important to learn from these things, because you could have walked away from that being like, fuck that owner, fuck that manager, fuck that bartender, and it was all their fault.
No, it was
me.
You
know, it's like, well, it's probably a combination of a lot of things.
Sure.
But like, it's really, we need to do a better job in this industry taking accountability for our mistakes.
100%.
You know,
100%.
And you're in your mid-20s and you're running this crazy style bar, and it's like you had the balls to take a shot and take the job, and you learn and you go on, and who knows, maybe you'll do that in your mid-30s and you'll give it another shot or something.
For sure.
Like that.
And you know what? I love managing. I feel like it's such a weird thing to say that you love, but I do. I absolutely love development for staff, and I love being able to know what my staff's strengths are and really play into those and give them the accolades that they deserve, but then also acknowledging their weaknesses and giving them tools to help strengthen that, and doing whatever I can to make or help the employee be the best staff member employee that they can be. And when they walk out that door, I hope that they have so many more skills that they've been able to hone while we've spent the time under the roof together that we have. I mean, I love watching people succeed.
Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah, it's development. It's like being a coach on a sports team or something like that. Like I have friends some of my good friends here in the city are GMs and AGMs and stuff, and it's like you have that management style, ability.
100%.
That's cool.
And I hope that it's something that I can get back into, because I do just love management.
Well, at some point we all, that's sort of the cycle life of a bartender.
It is. Well, it's so funny. I've had this, I was just looking at my resume the other day, and I did the bartender to the bar lead to the bar manager to the AGM to the GM to the AGM to the bar manager to the bartender to the server. Yeah.
To working in HR. No, I don't know.
I'm gonna go wash dishes next.
Oh man, yeah.
Actually, no. I give dishwashers so much credit. I don't know how they do it. They are just head down, blasting through. I just had the honor of working with one of the best dishwashers in my career, and she was such a badass. But I you know what? There's so many roles in a restaurant, and every single person goes into making it work and flow. Yeah. I hate saying that any restaurant is a family, because families are dysfunctional as fuck.
Exactly. That's why they are, yeah.
Mm-hmm. A well-oiled machine of a restaurant is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, dude. I think management is something, you think about it as you get older. Like, do you want to be ripping it behind these like busy, fast-paced bars, or do you want to, use the skills that you learned in how the restaurant runs? And that's what makes a good manager. Is the
100%.
Understanding and your history and knowledge that you've built.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I know really talented bartenders who like it's less on your body too.
It is.
Moving and shaking.
But you know what? I also am a huge advocate that I think that any GM, AGM, lead on the floor, whatever, if you're in a management role, your job is to be the help for the restaurant during service. I can't stand if you are up in the office in the middle of the thick of it, like
watching Netflix.
Yeah. Be the extra set of hands on the floor.
Of course.
You should, if a bartender needs ice, nobody wants to get ice in the middle of service, but the manager should be the one that's on it. And that's 100%. Just, you are there to support the team. And then outside of the service hours, for sure, you're on Yelp responding to DMs for good or for bad, or you're finding new ways to market the business and make sure that you're on Instagram looking beautiful and everybody wants to come in and try your drinks. And you're doing all the things to make the business thrive, survive, and succeed.
Yeah. Yeah, I think about those things. Do I want to keep bartending for how many more years? Do I want to get management? Do I want to try to grow this podcast?
You're going to be a multimillionaire from podcasts. That's what I'm rooting for you.
I am too, but I don't think of it as like that, like a monetary. I don't approach this like I want to get rich doing the podcast. Like I want to find a way to like grow this thing into a product, and like I'd like to make money off it. If I had a goal, it'd be to do this full time. But it's a really hard thing to do, and it requires networking and sponsorships, or, showing your skill set that maybe a media platform would hire you, or brands would hire you. I've actually reached out to some whiskey companies and spirit companies and things like that to try to build relationships, and it's tough. You got it. They want to see consistency. Mm-hmm. They also want to see like numbers, like how many people watch your fucking podcast. And my numbers aren't that crazy right now.
Not yet.
But it's like long term, my goal when I started this was to get to 21 episodes, because I read a statistic that said like 1% of people get past episode 20. So I was like, if you can put yourself in the 1% of people who consistently do this, and you do it well, regardless of how long it takes, like doors will start to open. And that's what I'm finding to happen is this is going to be episode 20. You are episode 20. You are right there. Yeah, I believe so. So that's like cool to think about, is like I'm really close to getting to my goal, but I'm not there yet. And it just requires a lot of work. And it's like, can you sell? Like at the end of the day, you can make the coolest fucking cocktail in your bar, in your apartment. Can you sell it? And can you sell it a lot of times? And can you repeat that for years to come?
Yep.
Those are different conversations. Those are the realities of the restaurant industry and business, But what about you? Do you want to move more into like, what are your long-term goals when you're 40 or when you're 35? Let's call it 38. What do you want to be doing in the industry professionally? Do you want to own your own spot? What are you thinking?
I have two directions I want to go with this. I either want to own my own spot and have it be just the boppin' industry place where people can come and have a good time. I don't think I could own a space here in San Diego because it's so expensive. I mean, to pay your labor alone is gnarly.
Yeah.
But I don't know where that would be that I would open a spot. Maybe I'd go back somewhere I've already lived. Maybe I'd go somewhere new. But I would just love to have somewhere where everybody comes in and they're proud to do the job that they're doing and they're serving some phenomenal food and they're just having a good time. Alternately, I would love to be living in Europe and learning how to make wine.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's not that crazy of a goal for you. You know, at age 28, I'm sorry if I keep bringing up your age on this, but like, I'm saying that in a good way. Like, you do have so much time and opportunity. Like, you could take, my friend Luis, he's one of the bar managers up at the Pulse Marriott. He has a lot of back of house cooking experience. He wants to go do a program over in, I think it was like France or Italy for a year and just like learn those systems.
Wow.
And I don't know if there's like scholarships or if there's like schooling you can do for that, but like you can go when you're young, you can take a year and go do things like that and try.
It's true. It's true. Well, and it's something I mean, I've wanted to live in another country my whole life. And it's interesting because it's something now that like I'm married and I am closer to my 30s than my early 20s. We're trying to figure out what that looks like. Like, do I go for a summer intensive somewhere? I mean, my better half has her TOEFL, which is teach English as a foreign language. Like, do we just go spend some time doing something somewhere else?
Like, would you ever want to go to Japan? Was there a
yeah.
country that you'd want to go to?
It's so funny. I've spent the most amount of time in Europe outside of the States. And I love Italy. I love the wine. I love the food. I love the culture. I love the landscape. There's nothing that I don't love about Italy. We floated around Spain for a little while just because they've got a really good expat program. I was just in Croatia a couple years ago and fell in love with that too. It's very similar to Italy. So really anywhere that's like a good wine producing region is where I could see myself ending up.
Yeah. Okay. So you're into wine?
I love wine.
Okay.
Thank you for those really nice bottles of wine that I got on my 20th birthday, because here we are many, many, many years later, just still having such an appreciation for wine and the stories behind it.
I don't know anything about wine. I'm so not in that field. And doing a hospitality podcast in Southern California, I realize I gotta,
You'll learn quick.
I gotta do like Wine for Dummies, read that book or something.
Well, you know what? We spoke with Jenny the other night.
That's right.
She is so knowledgeable. There is such a wonderful group of somms out here in general in San Diego. There's actually a really incredible group that meets at Born and Raised once a week to do blind tastings.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's cool. What? Yeah.
And I love wine. I could talk about it for so long. My very first bar program that I started was when I was in Scottsdale, and I was working with my first Michelin-starred chef who was very Italian, and the restaurant was very Italian. And my entire wine program that I got to build was all these beautiful Italian wines, and I just fell in love with the whole process and their varietals and again the stories. And it was funny because I moved to California and I was like, I don't know a single thing about California wines. Like, I know I could talk about Italian wines for days, but Paso Cab, I'm okay.
So like if I want to get like a rather, what would you recommend if I want to get a nice bottle of wine, of red wine that's not too expensive, but like that's like super quality, that like your preferences, like what are you going with?
Depends on if you're eating or if you're not eating.
Okay, let's say I'm having a steak dinner and I have a date coming over and we like a heavy, hearty red wine. I'm
really driving right now with a good Cab Franc. Okay. I love how herbaceous and bell pepper forward it is. I think that the earthiness will really complement the steak nicely.
Okay. And is that an expensive bottle? Is that one? That's a type
Cab Franc,
of wine?
Yeah, so Cab Franc's going to be the grape varietal.
Okay.
So you can find good wine at a good price just about anywhere. Honestly, I feel like a lot of people sleep on the Trader Joe's wine section, but it's a great wine section.
Okay.
And now that Total Wine and More is out here too, you can order things through them, but there's also a lot of really incredible local wine shops that you can stop into.
Really?
There's actually one right down on Gaslamp. The name is escaping me at the moment, but
what street corner it's on?
I don't. It's right by Zama.
Zama?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But down there, I think they've been there for a very long time, but their wine selection and their spirit selection is beautiful.
That's cool. Yeah, I just never really got into that. I was always like a beer and a shot kind of guy. I'm not really the whole but here we are.
I actually am really, really grateful. I just got the opportunity over this past SomCon to sit and test for my level 3 champagne certification from Napa Valley Wine Academy.
Okay.
Which I'm very grateful to have passed because that was a gnarly exam.
What are those exams like? Like, what are they?
Yeah, so you have a couple days of in-person classes, which who doesn't love waking up at 8 a.m. to start drinking champagne and judge it? But then the classes themselves, now you're not only going over the tasting and the notes and how to figure out how to drink champagne, but you're also going through the entire history of why, how the champagne region has come to be what it is today, and what the process is for bottling champagne and all the different things that come along with it. So then for your test, you sit down for a multiple choice, a written, and a tasting portion.
Okay, so you're learning the history about the whole product.
100%.
And do they teach you how to taste the palate and everything like that?
Yeah. So the tasting portion is really interesting because our teacher, who is one of 9 people in the entire world who is has enough accolades to be able to teach this class, she tastes the champagnes that we're also tasting, and her answers for all of her tasting notes is what the Napa Valley Wine Academy grades us off of. So if our tasting notes don't match her tasting notes, you don't pass.
That's wild.
Super crazy. Super crazy.
So it's like the taste, the smell, I don't even know what that's like.
Yeah. So with champagne, there is primary, secondary, and tertiary on the nose as well as the palate. When you're looking visually, you're describing the color. You're also describing how the bubbles look. Are they soft? Are they lively? Are they harsh? And it's really interesting because the terminology that you have to use has to match Napa Valley Wine Academy's terminology, which I believe for any of the champagne courses, they all have champagne terms that the Comité de Champagne has approved.
Okay. Interesting.
It's super regulated.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Is there really expensive champagne? What makes what would make a champagne super expensive?
I mean,
or nice. I guess not expensive, but quality. What's a higher quality champagne?
So there's champagne houses that have been around for a really, really long time, and the longer they've been around, the longer the vintages that they can play around with, or the longer that the bottles have been able to sit in lees. There's all these different things that play into a nice bottle. Actually, Little Frenchie over in Coronado.
Yeah.
Do you know their Somm, Jess?
I don't, but I know the restaurant.
Okay. Their wine program is phenomenal. I was just there the other day, and I am so in awe with what they're doing with their wine program. But she's got so many great champagnes on that menu that you can taste through in just glasses and not just full bottles.
Nice.
But I mean, you hear names like Veuve Clicquot and Dom Perignon, and these are big names that have been in the industry for a really long time. Yeah. But there's a reason that they've been around for so long. But it's all about what you're looking for in your champagne. Do you want it to taste like you're biting into a lemon? Do you want it to taste like bruised apples? Do you want it to taste like milk and honey?
Interesting. I think I'm going to go visit your friend a little Frenchie and do this or try some out.
It's amazing. I 10 out of 10 recommend.
I used to work at Hotel Del, so I'd walk by that place for a while. Yeah. Yeah, that's a beautiful spot. I miss that, working on the beach.
I bet. What'd you do over at Hotel Del?
I was in their Eno Market. I was in the coffee shop slanging cappuccino. So I do that. I work 8 hours there, and then I get I'd end at 4. I work from 8 o'clock to 4 or something like that. And then I'd go over to the 6 p.m. stout shift from 6 to 2 a.m.
Oh.
And just rip it. It was a long day.
That's that East Coast work ethic right there.
You know what? It's good money, dude. It's wild because we sell in the Eno Market. You're selling not only sandwiches that you're making for people, but you're selling to go beer, to go wine, to go
Oh.
expensive bottles of champagne, to go bottles of Maker's Mark, and people would tip on those things. And I'm like, whoa.
That's really nice. Wow, that's great.
This is a really cool job. And it's a union. And the only reason I stopped doing that was because it was really hard to balance a union position and stout at the same time. I kind of had to choose between the two. And I had an opportunity to get behind the story in Babcock Bar at Hotel Del, but I would have had to give up stout. And I love stout. And I didn't want to do that. And that's the choice that you got to make.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to go the corporate place and get into the union and get in line? And those are jobs you keep for the rest of your life.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're really good and they pay well and they're consistent. There's benefits, there's health insurance, there's all these things. And the money's really good because there's always people coming in. But then you have working at the mom and pop and the Irish bar and the Stout Public House. And those are the decisions. What do you want? And I went with Stout and I'm really happy I went with that because,
Good.
yeah. But you never know in the moment. You got to go,
No,
Yeah.
it's the butterfly effect, right? Where
Yeah.
that one decision, it could be a really small, minuscule thing, but then it just keeps going and going and going.
So talk about the butterfly effect. Dude, I just pulled up these notes on my phone. I have notes from like fucking way back. And I was just looking at a job that I used to have. What I do when I go and I apply for jobs is I take notes. I say,
Smart.
as a little Frenchie, I talked to this person. What, like, come back this time. And I found that there was this really incredible cocktail bar in New York City. It was known as like having the best craft cocktail program in New York City like 10 years ago. And I went in there and applied, and I had this note in my phone. It says, come back at this time. And
Oh, wow.
I instead of going back at that craft cocktail bar, I got a job around the corner at the local cheeseburger and martini tavern. And like, that's been my route in the restaurant industry. And it's like, it's almost like that was like a doorway.
Yeah.
Do I want to go craft cocktail? And I didn't know anything at the time. I was 25. It was 9 years ago. And it's just kind of like wild to think about. You know what I mean? Like my whole life, my whole like restaurant career has been like sports bars, clubs, the taverns, the local spots. And it's like, it started out with the manager just wasn't there at that time. And I could have easily gone the craft cocktail route. You know, it's just wild to think about.
It's crazy how that happens. It really is.
You know,
I mean, when I started bartending, it's because our bartender called out one day. And they had asked, they were like, can anybody bartend? And I was like, I'd like to learn. And they go, sick, get behind the bar. And I was like, cool. I didn't know what I was doing. I had no idea. But because of that, it jump-started such a love of mixology for me.
yeah, you just get fucking thrown in the fire. The bar in New York City I was talking about was called Dante.
Duh.
And it's known as like, I mean, the whole industry's changed over the last 10 years with post-COVID and stuff like that. But it is kind of wild to think about. But that's how you get into the fucking industry, dude, is you just wait for somebody to like call out. And then it's like availability.
Yep.
Like, do you have the competence and to like present yourself? And do you have the, confidence to put yourself into something new that you don't necessarily know how to do, and can you work through that process? That's huge when getting behind the bar, is like, because some people are trained as barbacks, some people are like, you work the lunch shift or you work at a beer and wine bar or something like that. But like for me, I was just thrown behind the bar. Somebody called out, and it's like, you got to make it work.
And you're killing it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm killing it, but here we are. I'm working. I'm living. I'm alive. I'm paying my bills. But what else, dude? We've been going for like an hour and a half. We're having a really good conversation. What else do you want? Is there anything you want to get out of this conversation? Like what haven't we touched on? Mental health, creativity in the future. Your early path.
I do want to talk about just kind of overcoming your friends passing because of rampant partying. I know that it's like it's a deeper topic, and it's something that I feel like a lot of people shy away from talking about because A, who wants to talk about their friends that have passed, but B, like, how often do you walk into a bar and like the staff is drunk or they're on blow or they're just like fucked up.
It's an unfortunate reality of the industry.
It is. And then people get off work and they continue it. It's like my time in Denver where I watched the sunrise entirely too many mornings. I wasn't sober. I was drinking. I was partying. I have never done coke, and it's something that I stand really strongly on, will never do. And that's my own personal preference. And I would never be the person that's going to stop somebody else from doing it unless it's putting them in a position of harm or danger to themselves, but it's not my path. But I spent so much time around it, and I spent so much time just like stuck in that drunken conversation with somebody who's on a coke loop.
Like, it doesn't end.
Like it doesn't end,
bro.
It's so funny. Every 4th of July, there's a Snapchat memory that pops up in my Snapchats, and it's like, so and so is coked out. It's 7 a.m. and all I want to do is go to sleep, but she won't stop fucking talking to me. And it's like,
listen to my business plan. Listen to my business plan,
fuck, dude. And like I'm so grateful that people have their outlets and that they want to have fun and they want to party, but I've lost so many people to it. It hit a point where like I was seeing all my friends when we were going to each other's funerals for like 3 years in a row. I mean, 10 plus people have passed away. I'm not old enough for all of my friends to have passed, and it's like hit the point where I would get the text from somebody that's like, hey, can we talk? And like I would just know right away. And I mean, my best friend passed the day after Christmas a couple years ago, and I was in the car with my wife and her family, and we were driving back from Arkansas, and my friend texted me and she's like, hey, can we talk? And I was like, oh, like I'm in the car with everybody. But there was this gut feeling where I knew something had happened. And she's like, well, like, can I call you? I'm like, no, like, can you just text me? And she texted me the words that just like so and so has passed. And I just sat there and I was like, fuck, dude, like that's my best friend. Like that, him and I lived together. We were gonna move to Costa Rica together. He had a massive chest piece of Anthony Bourdain across his chest, and I mean, like that was my best friend, and he's gone. And like I've had that happen too many times, and I've had so many other friends and acquaintances that I've had to deal with loss, and it's tough. Like how am I supposed to go through that and then go right back behind the bar where like we all work together at the same restaurant? I could never walk into that restaurant again. I like there'd be too many empty chairs and empty tables.
That's tough, dude. Yeah, when trying to go be the face of behind the bar of a restaurant when you have real life going on. Gnarly.
Very much so. And I mean, everybody has a life outside of work, but being able to disconnect and have those 6 hours that you're in a restaurant to be able to just almost use as like let me wipe everything and dive into it, not think about it is great. But then you walk back out and it's like, oh, like
reality hits.
Yeah, reality hits. Like those people are still gone. And as much as I'm an advocate for enjoying your life and living it how you want to live it, you got to be happy, healthy, and safe. You got to take care of yourself. You got to go outside and touch grass. You got to get sleep. You got to drink water. You got to feed yourself, not just junk food all the time. Eat a fucking salad. like, you have to prioritize taking care of yourself before you can take care of everybody else. And in hospitality, we're so quick to be able to dump all of our own things to the side so that we can make room and space for our guests. But you got to take care of yourself. So important.
Very well said. I was dealing with that when we had the anniversary party. I was dealing with my dog who was at the vet. She ate this chicken bone. I was like, how it's impossible that you could even eat that. It's so fucking big. And I was like, I was trying to take her to the vet, and then my mom was texting me like, oh, Stella's having trouble pooping. And so I'm going you're going through this best day of the year, and you're like, am I going to go home to my dog having like internal, it's just like, it's really challenging to like check those things. And that's the reality of a lot of people in this industry is we have real life problems outside, and the ability to turn that off and forget about it. But it's really hard.
It is really hard. It is really hard. And if you can, and you could throw yourself into work and you can smile to your guests even though you're dying inside, like I give you major fucking accolades, because it's not easy and it's not something that everybody can do.
And I think what happens is like you do that too much though, and it just becomes a cycle of doing that, and that's when things can like you just crash. People just crash. So that's the thing where it's not good to just constantly check. It's like you got to check it, but like also how can we like position our lives as best we can to try to you know, because everyone has shit they're going on with in their life.
For sure.
You know, so that's really challenging. I don't always have the answers to those things, but you know what I do is I try to listen to people, you know, because it's good to let those things out so they don't build up.
100%. Oh, and this, I mean, brings me back to therapy too, of like, get a therapist. Get somebody that you can talk to about these things. Go, I mean, we live in San Diego. Go to the beach. Not enough people go to the beach. We're all locals here, but it feels like we're strangers to the outside world. But I can tell you what's going on with my favorite bartenders. Like, I'm a local at their bar, but I'm not going outside. I'm not touching grass. Yeah,
it's life.
It is. And things get better, you know? We all go through the highs and the lows, but it is a cycle that'll keep going. Just because you're going through a shit time in this moment and like that minute, day, hour is hard, doesn't mean that the next one's going to be. It just means you have to find a way to navigate through it, find a reason to smile, find a reason to get up in the morning and do it again, and just keep going.
Cheers, dude.
Cheers.
Thank you for coming on. Appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.